Trump impeachment continues.
Mr. Speaker, let me just remind my colleagues again about what's happening here. Trump said he would end the war in Ukraine on day one. He didn't. Last time I checked, it's still going on. He said he wouldn't get us into another war. He just did. He said there was a ceasefire that would last forever. There wasn't. And he said his bill won't kick people off of Medicaid, and it will. 16 million people are about to lose their health care, and it's going to adversely impact rural areas even more so because of what he's doing. And you know what he's been doing since midnight? He's been on Truth Social. He's posted nearly 30 times since midnight on Truth Social. First of all, declaring victory and everything is beautiful, and then retweeting posts, calling for him to get the Nobel Peace Prize. He's more interested in getting an award than he is in protecting people's health care. They're making sure that people in this country have enough to eat, that children don't go hungry. I mean, these priorities, maybe they're your priorities, they're not my priorities. I think they're all screwed up. And Mr. Speaker, if we defeat the previous question, I will offer an amendment to the rule to bring up H.R. 2753, the Hands-Off Medicaid and SNAP Act, which would block the Republicans from cutting Medicaid or SNAP benefits and kicking people off these life-saving programs as part of their reconciliation bill. Last month, House Republicans jammed through their multi-trillion-dollar tax scam by a one-vote margin. And as a reminder, this bill includes the largest ever cut to food assistance and will strip health care from 16 million Americans, all while adding $3.3 trillion to the debt. I mean, some Republicans didn't even know what was in the bill when they voted for it. Yet when they had the chance for a revote 2 weeks ago, because they screwed it up the first time, they voted to cut Medicaid and SNAP again. Now, as we stand here debating unrelated immigration measures, Senate Republicans are moving forward with their version of the big ugly bill. And because House Republicans broke so many rules when they passed their bill the second time, they're going to have to vote on it a third time when it comes back from the Senate. Now, miraculously, due to their own ineptitude, Republicans have given themselves yet another opportunity to protect health care and SNAP for millions of Americans. Let's see if they vote this time to bring up the Hands-Off Medicaid and SNAP Act. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of my amendment into the record along with any extraneous material immediately prior to the vote on the previous question.
Without objection.
And, Mr. Speaker, to discuss our proposal, I yield 2.5 minutes to the gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Figures.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to speak of the critical importance of both SNAP and Medicaid, not just to Alabama's 2nd District, but in every congressional district across this country. When I took this position, like all of my colleagues, I took an oath, not just for this position, but I took an oath to the people that I represent, and that's to not forget where I come from. I took an oath to places like Mobile and Montgomery and Phoenix City and Evergreen and Greenville. I took an oath to the neighborhood I grew up in Tomanville, to not forget the type of district that you come from. And for me, what that district looks like is about 1 in 4 households rely on SNAP benefits. Over 200,000 people, almost a third of the population in the state of Alabama, is enrolled in Medicaid. Individual median income in my district is just about $31,000 a year. I come from a district that is not the wealthiest, not even close to the wealthiest or well off in this country. And so these aren't just statistics. These are real people that I see when I go home to my district. These are children, these are seniors, these are working parents and people with disabilities. These are neighbors. These are people who I grew up in church with. These are people who I went to school with, who depend on these programs to survive, not because they want to, but because they have to. And cutting these benefits would force impossible choices among some of these people, between food, medicine, utilities, between housing and overall stability. But it wouldn't reduce the need, because the need would still be there, the hunger would still be there, the poverty would still be there. It would just shift the cost on to our hospitals, to our schools, and to emergency services. And Alabama SNAP does more than just provide food for people. It also supports, as it does across this country, supports our local grocers, supports our local grocery stores. All of the statistics show us that SNAP is a positive, net positive return on the local economy. And so we have to recognize that Medicaid keeps working families healthy. 61% of Medicaid recipients in the state of Alabama are working. Right? The majority of the remainder are either children or people with disabilities. These programs are not luxuries. They are lifelines that people need to get by. So let's stop pretending that these are just numbers